baby. Let's go. Let's go. Come on.
And they try to say I wouldn't make it. I ain't had nobody in I had to face it. So I know it's really me against the world. I wish the world would accept me for who I am. I wish the world would stop putting me down. People judging who I am.
Shout out
I ain't
Jay
losing hope.
Life.
I'm accepting who I am. I ain't losing faith. I'ma love who I am. People wanna judge, they will never understand. I never follow trends. I always listen to what's in my heart.
People want to judge. They won't never understand. I don't follow trends. Woo! Somebody's pen was hot that day. Somebody's pen was hot that day.
It sounds so nice. That's a nice way to start an evening, that's for sure.
Yeah, no. I mean, especially with the subject that we are on today. Tag a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend. Run them likes up. We are back trying to help y'all get through the week with a case of the Mondays, but not in a bad way.
Never.
In a good way. We're here to cure the case of the Mondays as a matter of fact. It's been a minute though.
Hey. How is everything? How's it going? What's new? What's happening? Like, I feel like I haven't been out here for a hot second.
Well, we're focused more on making music. What up, y'all? We see y'all in the building. Run them likes up, run them likes up. Shout out J Life going crazy in the comment section, letting people know that we are back in business. But yeah, just being creative. What up, Elisa? I see you, girl. Showing out. Yeah, it's Monday. We're trying to make your Mondays better. Run them likes up. Let's spread some sunshine. And RG all day. Of course, he's in the building. We are so blessed to have everybody here to gather. People underestimate that shit.
Nah, you can't though. You know what I mean? Like, if it wasn't for them, there'd be none of this. So
yeah, I mean, just like making it through the week, making it through the day, making it through the moment. We got Princess. We got the princess in the building. Bum ba da dum dum ba. It's a case of the Mondays. So, the milkman is in. I'm not here. Yeah, you here. We see the milkman is in the building showing. He's showing out in the comment section. He's showing out. He been showing out. What's new on the YouTube? Add a YouTube if you can. We got Tattoo Baby in the building. We will be collaborating on some content. Add her if you don't got her. We're expanding. It's bigger than genres. It's about music as a whole. Just trying to build up the empire. Kalisha, what have you been on?
Oh man, listen. You know what? Mondays, like, they become one of the like fun days. I don't know why everyone always looks for the weekend for that kind of stuff, but if we can start off right, then the week's all right. So, just chilling for a Monday.
We got to it's all about giving people as much. Like for me, my mind is wired to look for as many things to be positive about as possible.
Yeah, no, I hear you there.
What up? One of my favorite humans, Captain. Oh, what up, Cap? They're showing out tonight. Run it up. Share, tell a friend. It's case of the Mondays. Mental health is important. It's so important. And I care about y'all so much. I see y'all's statuses, y'all's joys, yo. I'm an empath, so I be taking all that shit personal. I take it way too personal. My wife be like, chill,
It's hard not to though, right? Because I mean, like our, our news feeds are curated with people we love, people that come out and love us, and so it's hard not to like acknowledge when people are kind of going through some things, or feel they're like, when they're celebrating, not to celebrate with them. So
Yeah. And let's get to the subject, the heartbeat of today's episode. Finally. And what have I been doing? I've been working on trying to get to the best version of me. You know, I think that has been a heavy focus in my life, is being the best version of myself. And what that means to me is that I'm being conscious of how I treat myself,
yeah,
how I treat others,
right.
and decisions that I'm making. So I am not devaluing myself in the things that I do.
It's hard to do though. Like, I mean, it's one thing to say that you're going to be productive and that you're going to put yourself out there so you can support other people, but like, to actually find the time to prioritize some of that stuff. Like, I've been looking for ways to even look to see what that looks like for me.
I
It's
mean, I think it's a constant thing. I don't think it's a solo thing. I don't take time out my day to do it per se. I look at it as me being mindful
uh,
throughout my day, like making decisions I need to, like, I don't know, it can be something small, like you see the trash is full, take it out.
yeah,
You see things, you see you have to register your car thing, like, you gotta pay your taxes,
yeah,
taking that
expired.
taking
Like,
you know filing paperwork when I hate paperwork, or finding somebody to do the things, accepting
mhm.
things about myself.
Right. Yeah, because it's delegating tasks too, like if you're cool with working all the time because that's something you're passionate about, and then finding the people to like come for you to like, maybe sort your laundry or wash your walls or whatever. I mean, it still looks the same. I know I found some peace and happiness in my life the day that I realized that it took a whole team to even run maybe my household, right? Like I can't be doing it all. Some people can, and that's great, but I'm like, look, I really enjoy doing this. So if I focus my 8 hours or my 12 hours on this, that might give me the opportunity to like cash in a little bit and then spread the love around and make sure that my tasks are done. Like, you know?
So what does being the best you mean to you? Because it seems like you had a different idea when you talked about taking the time.
Right.
I mean, well, yeah, go on.
I mean, so for me, like when I wake up every day, I try and project the idea of what I want to see in myself. You know what I mean? I'm gonna wake up looking a little humble maybe when I look in the mirror, but I try to see what I want the goal to be, right? Like, what is this going to look like for me? Do I need my eyebrows sorted out, or you know what I mean? Do I need to go and get a new blazer so I can go to that wicked job interview or whatever, right? So when I look at myself, I try and see like what needs to happen in that day, and that can be hard to do because it gets convoluted, right? Like we were talking about the tasks that need to happen in your household before you even get to you. So for me, it's looking like trying to find the pleasure in the day-to-day things. You know what I mean? Like trying to find those
Yeah.
self-care moments where it's not like, okay, I'm gonna go get my nails, my hair, all this done. Like maybe self-care looks like folding the
Well,
laundry.
my schedule definitely includes some shit for fun
Right.
for me to do. I might want to really beat a level in a game. I'll make sure I take the time to do that. And
Right.
you know, but I'll be like, oh, I know I got to do this stuff during, so and I feel fulfilled doing all of it, really, the things I enjoy. I just try to live a life that I feel fulfilled at, and I want to get better and learn through the experiences, and grow. And I think the toughest the toughest part for me sometimes is realizing when to let things go and
Yeah.
when to hold on to them.
Right, right. Like, when does something become detrimental to you? And like, yeah, I mean, that's a tough one for everybody. I feel like because it's hard to take your own trash out, like, so to speak, right? It's hard to see, especially if it's become a comfort, right? And that's another one that I'm always working on. Like, if if something needs to be sorted out, so we can, filter out some of the. Okay, let's just say it straight. So if I need to switch up my daily routine to make sure that I'm being productive, then what does that look like? Because we get stuck in ruts. I get stuck in ruts, right? It's easy. It's been doing the same thing for the last 5 years. So yeah, it's acknowledging some of those things sometimes. Like, all right, if this ain't working or if this isn't contributing, then how do I dispose of it without it affecting me?
And I think a lot of people, you know, I don't know. I'm talking about it, and seeing my boy Cam's name in the building made me think about this. A lot of people think because we're talking about the fun parts or the simple parts, right? Of being the best version of yourself, right?
Yeah.
There's also there's those times where it involves a lot of sacrifice. And there's been times I've had to sit down where I couldn't smoke weed, where I couldn't, where I had to change the way I ate, where I had to change the way I spent my money, those kind of things in order to get to what I achieved. And one thing I heard that stuck with me in that process, uh somebody said I was focused now so I could have fun later on.
Oh, yeah. But that's prioritizing those things, right? Like, I don't know. If you can find the joy in everything. I mean, if you're out here and you're doing what you love, and we see it in the studio all the time, because if you are constantly like on that hustle, trying to do that album, trying to get that LP out, trying to write those lyrics, whatever, right? Like, if you're doing it day in and day out and it's not pleasurable anymore, it becomes it becomes a mental sacrifice to get it done because the product will be good, right? Like, you got to be careful either way, because it's all right to celebrate those. It's all right to celebrate. It's all right to collect a paycheck from something that you love. But if you're out here grinding with the wrong headspace, then it's not going to matter anyway. It just becomes this like huge burden, right?
Um, and I love Waylon said delayed gratification, right?
Yeah.
Um, bro, I saw a car that said senior year 2025,
Yeah.
and it made me cry because I didn't get to graduate with my class.
Okay.
I didn't value it the same way that I should have. I should have valued it and I didn't because I was going for instant gratification. Had I known what it felt like, I didn't get the memorable senior year
Mhm.
and all the moments that have been stolen from me because of me wanting something instant. You know, yeah, that's been something I've been thinking about real heavy throughout my whole entire uh life. And I wanted the like, yeah. So
But how do you go back and claim those moments, right? Like, because you didn't know what you know now, and that's the beauty of.
working twice as hard now,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, and humbling myself now
Mm,
because there's still time for sure,
mhm.
and like understanding the consequences of when you make those kind of decisions. Um,
They're
so,
hard
so-
to make though. I mean, okay, so for example, when I was young, I did everything that I could to make sure that I had like the nicest whip with the fattest stereo. And I cut hella corners trying to get there all the time, only
Mm-hmm.
to have my car stolen anyway.
Ooh.
True story.
Um.
True story. And
Uh,
now I'm like, all right, if I sit back and I just grind on this for a hot second and stack cash where I can, you know what I mean? Then I only have to do this once again. And I find myself doing that all the time. I'm like, okay, if I go out and get the nice this and the nice that's great. And it feels good in the moment, right? But if I just sit back and hold tight and maybe wear that pair of shoes a couple extra times a week or whatever, then
uh-huh.
the payoff becomes bigger. And so it's
Well,
changing what success looks like to me.
yeah. Well, and we got to introduce our guest. A
Mhm.
man who knows way too much about the subject of today. With no further ado, we appreciate his time. The owner of Christway, Jesse, is in the building. Jesse Nolan is in the building. Let's give him the biggest.
Yeah. Welcome.
Oh, you're I can't hear you right now. Can you hear him, Kalisha?
No, I can't hear him either.
Oh, your mic is not working right now. But Christway is a Christian rap king. It's way bigger than that. I'd like for him to say what it is, but they do podcast and all of the above. Jesse, do you I'm trying to figure out
Yeah, I'm just throwing him a quick message here. Let's see.
Of what it could be real quick, y'all. I'm trying to think of what we could do in the meantime. Real quick, I will let's run a video real quick. Oh, yes. We can hear you now.
I changed my mic to my phone mic.
Oh, welcome, darling.
Should I do that, or should I try to?
You're fine.
My interface.
No, you're fine. You're fine. We can hear you clear as day, sir. So what we were talking about was delayed gratification versus instant gratification. And I think a lot of times, and what I have realized is what I have wanted for myself, or what I thought the best version of me wasn't quite the most ideal thing. I don't know.
At all.
At all.
Yeah. I mean, to give a little history recap of me and you, obviously before Christway, which, I mean, your plug was was all right. That'll do. But with Hip Hop Society back in the day, when I was doing that, if that would have taken off, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today. So that had to not work out. And even though at the time it didn't make sense, or I was down about it, it ended up working out for the best, because where I'm at now is where I was supposed to be. And I was trying to force these roads, or trying to go down roads that weren't meant for me. And now I'm thriving in the one I was always supposed to be at.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, well, and that's an understatement, Jesse, because in your life I've seen you just dive deeper always into who you are, what it means, discipline, am I allowed to say how my wife met you?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, I'm super transparent about my life.
Okay. Literally, you were serving in the military and my wife met you at a psych ward.
Yee.
and literally it's been a journey from that to organizing major Christian rap events,
Yeah.
podcasts, all of this, like losing hundreds of pounds, sobriety, leading
Yeah.
people to Christ, sobriety, all of the above,
Yeah.
you know.
Congratulations. Like, my
Yeah. Thank you.
goodness, is that a good example of living?
Yeah. All glory to God. But yeah, like One North. I even remember the name of the psych ward. It was called One North. I'm sure Reva remembers One North as well. But
Wow.
yeah, I was at my lowest. I mean, do you mind if I share a little bit of my testimony real quick?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
So I'll give a super quick summary. So I grew up. I was sexually abused as a child at a very young age. Like my earliest memories are that, and it went on till I was about like from 3, and then I think 6 we moved. Stopped there. Grew up. My dad was in gangs, so he was always in prison. Didn't really have a relationship with him. Um, Drugs, seen drug abuse and alcohol abuse, like bad, like meth, like the hard stuff. And lived through that. And then went to the military. Um, Came back from Afghanistan. I got diagnosed with PTSD, and also even when I was younger, I remember the first time I got drunk, I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like I was so used to, because of the trauma, wearing like masks. That was the first time that I got to like take it off,
Be
or
yourself.
not even be myself. It's just not even think about who I am. It's just like
Right.
I don't have to fake anything. I'm just in that. And when I got back, I got into, experimenting with drugs and stuff. And yeah, my life spiraled out of control. And yeah, I got to a point where I just didn't want to live anymore. Had a suicide attempt. Um, and I had other ones, but I had a pretty supernatural encounter with God one time when I overdosed. Well, one of those suicide attempts, that's where I met Reva at the psych ward. But yeah, I had overdosed, and I remember I was in my bathroom, and I had fell down because I had lost all control of my body. Like I was only consciously there, and I was just like, dang, like this is it. Like I'm gonna just die in my bathroom. Like that's how my story ends. I was like, this can't be how my story ends. And I felt something reach under my arms and lift me up. And I stood back up and I had control of my body again. And then I drove to work somehow, like after just collapsing.
What?
Yeah, I drove to work. And then obviously I wasn't right. So they took me to the ER. I was in the ICU and whatnot. But even after that, I still was iffy on religion.
Right.
But
You
yeah,
took
so
some more
yeah, yeah, yeah. Someone in the ICU
Well,
even told me like, "Oh, are you done?" And I was like, "I said no." I was like, yeah, I know. That was
wow.
his reaction. That was his
Well,
reaction.
after you've been through so, like, because even when you, despite everything that you had been through, held on enough to even be able to join the military, for
Yeah.
that to turn into another nightmare. Like,
Yeah.
so why would you believe in anything at that point once it's been nightmare after nightmare at that point, and of you holding on to hope of a best version of yourself? But go on from there.
Yes. I mean, do you want me to answer what you
Yeah.
said, or just keep going?
Sure. Well, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me personally, even though I was going through all that and there was so much negativity, there's one like trait that I've always had, even like with all that negativity, is like I always and still do believe that anything that I want to do in my life, I'm going to do it. I might not do it immediately, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And even in psych wards, I've had people tell me like, "Oh, I wish I believed in myself as much as you believe in yourself." And I was like, "Oh, everybody doesn't believe in themselves." I was like, "I believe in
Yeah.
myself."
Well, that's always been my biggest strength and my biggest weakness because I'm gonna create my own then. But you gotta work way harder. Like the way that the world is set up and where you gotta go through channels. It's insane. But part of why I was like continue with your testimony because I felt like
Yeah.
that was gonna answer
Oh yeah, yeah,
the,
yeah. I got
the
some.
question.
I got some.
Um,
I just. I
and
mean,
and like
yeah,
that's an individual thing, like to go into like after you do it, because like questions like, yo, what even made you feel compelled to join the military? How'd you see that despite
yeah,
your surroundings? But let's continue from where you were at and then we'll go back to stuff like
yeah.
that.
So yeah, I had that moment, and then yeah, I got really into experimenting with drugs. I never did any of the hard stuff, like meth and heroin and stuff like that, but more like partying stuff, but still doing it
Too
more
much.
than I should. Yeah, yeah. I remember one time I told somebody I was like, oh yeah, one time I think I stayed up for almost like a week straight, and they were like, oh, you party hard, and I was like, that's not something to be proud about. Like I wasn't having fun.
I'd
Um, yeah,
That's amazing because there is a difference between like self-medicating, which you could have 100% gone
oh,
to,
I
right?
was for sure.
Or like celebratory or ceremonial, like,
Yeah,
party favors. Like that's impressive that you can see the difference. Like, wow.
yeah. So yeah, so then I had to go to rehab. But I fought that for a long time. I remember last time saw you was in Atlanta, right, in person.
yeah, yep.
At that point, I was still I was still, I was like 350 pounds then. I was still drinking a lot. Like it even got even worse after that. Like at one point, I was like blacking out for like a week at a time.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it
Because
was bad.
you seemed straight, but you're
Yeah,
on set, I
I have my
guess.
moments. I
Yeah,
have my moments.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean that lasted for till it couldn't last anymore, and I had to finally, like, especially too, like, I can't speak for everyone, but I guess from the childhood trauma, I've always been very prideful and egotistical. So it's like I couldn't accept that I was an addict. I was like, no, 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 I could control this when I want to, and I would to an extent, but eventually it would get to the point where next thing I know, I'm drinking every day for who knows. Um, and yeah, it got to a point where I finally surrendered. And then I don't know if anyone is very experienced with AA, but I grew up in church, but not following it too heavily. And I always saw religious people, and I never got it. Like I was pretty atheist. I was
So
like,
religion is newer to your.
yeah, like truly into it. Like I grew up in the church, but I never had that relationship until my late 20s, and then through AA, they try to separate it from religion, but it
They
does
can't
talk about,
though.
yeah,
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 it's fellowship all
yeah,
day long over there, which is a beautiful thing because it brings a lot of people to sobriety. But yeah, it's definitely a focus for sure in that
yeah,
the big book.
yeah, and yeah, that surrender doing the steps. That's when I finally surrendered to God, and I was just like, okay, my life is unmanageable. And then in those moments, I just grew. I grew so much. I got through AA. I was able to acknowledge how selfish I was in my addiction, and like all these weak areas that I didn't want to highlight, because no one likes to feel ashamed and feel guilty. Everyone fights those feelings, but through addressing those, I've
Yeah.
changed so much. And yeah, I mean, my whole family's proud of me. I've just, I feel bad because I told my
Well,
girlfriend, I
and
was like,
you
if you would have known me,
graduate
oh yeah,
and you graduated from college, like
yeah, two
from the
degrees. I
weight
got two
loss,
degrees.
the double
Congratulations.
degrees, like and for some of y'all are saying religion is not the topic of the subject of the episode. It's being the best version of
Yeah,
yourself, and uh this is how he did.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if
You
somebody
know,
does it
this
another
is
way, more power to you. No judgment.
Like,
Do whatever you got to do to be the best you. But this is what my
and it's
story.
so, and like I see it working, whether I
Yeah.
believe, oh,
Yeah.
the
Or
way,
not yet.
right, whether I believe or not, the light that he shines and the way that he's made people feel and the things that he has created speaks for itself.
Mm.
Yeah. No, I
From
love that you say the light though, because if anything, I feel like I used to uh, uh, just bring darkness to whoever I encountered always. You
well,
feel me? And
I think that's and see, this is such a tough because Kalisha, like him saying, I understand everything. Like he's like, I'm an addict to a certain extent. Like if we're putting it in those terms,
Yeah,
and
I mean,
I deny my addiction. You
right.
know what I'm saying? Do I think it's something that stops me from being the best me? Maybe financially.
They've actually rebranded the term, like what it means to be an addict, right? And so they're saying now, like, because it used to be like quantity, right? And now they're saying it's like if that impacts your life in a negative way. Because that could be anything, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be substances. It could be
yeah,
exercise, it could be eating, it could be whatever, right? And so now they're saying that or at least the recovery groups that like I darken the doorway of, they're more focused on like how it impacts your life and not necessarily maybe what the intake is. So
right.
I mean, it's interesting because it's evolved a little bit over the time. But yeah, I mean, if it's taken away from something or productivity or finances or whatever, then probably wouldn't.
Taken away, that's the one that what I heard, like if it interferes with your shelter, your significant other, like your relationships, it's an addiction because now you're choosing whatever that is over the things that
Yeah.
should matter in just daily living.
Well then I'm not addicted. The bills are paid. We're good. We're good. I mean, I would never pick it over my bills ever. All
Yeah,
Or
right.
food, what else?
but
Well,
that's why they had to
Sleep. Yeah.
rebrand the title or the name because people were like, "Wow, I might be doing
Yeah.
this." You know what I mean? Like I've been in I mean in psych they're saying now that like, items of that used to be of addiction quality can be used as like, self-care when they're used in a celebratory way, right? Like it's
I don't know. You're trying to make just come on now. We're that well, it's okay to dabble.
well,
Nah.
it makes me relax,
What I have found
for
what
real
I have
though.
found it's very different from people to people. Like
Yeah.
some people
Yeah. Mhm.
literally cannot handle that. And I've watched, just like what Elise is saying, I've watched drugs destroy everyone around me,
Yep.
and so, and even for me, literally, I've never drank my whole life, Jesse,
Like
because
ever a drink?
ever. I've
Oh
never
wow.
like ever been drunk like that. And when I was a kid, I saw my uncles drunk, and I was like, not for me. But even part of it, these things are so delicate and stupid to make cut and dry.
You can't. Yeah.
Because part of why I don't drink is because of a whole nother problem, which is being a control freak. You know what I'm saying? Like, even part of being the best of me is relinquishing control and trusting. They say trust the process, but all I trust is me. Like, so,
Yeah,
um,
I dig that for real though, because I mean, some people, the only way, to the other side is through it, and that doesn't always look so nice, right? It doesn't always look the way that you want it to look. So I'm with you on that. Like I'm a fully functioning adult, not because I like to be, uh,
Sober.
a prude, but because I am like, I
Okay, that's a
refuse
great
to allow people to see in that light. Like, I might go outside in my pajamas every once in a while to collect my mail, but you're not going to see me like, you know, like that out at the club. Like, that ain't about to happen, right?
Well, even the other day I went to go pick up one of my friends and they were to film content. They were drunk. I said, "Yo, I'll chill for a second and then I'm leaving. I can't take you with me. We're not going to make no content."
Oh.
He said I'm suburban.
What?
Is that like a sober joke?
He said I'm too suburban. He
What?
said he's a product of his environment and that it shouldn't matter and where he's from
I
it don't
thought
matter.
I thought he was so drunk he was trying to lie, saying he was sober, and he said suburban.
No, he said I'm
Urban.
suburban.
No, but you know what though? That's it's good to have standards like that, right? If you're saying like what we're doing here is up here and not necessarily like slurring our words all the way through this, like, I mean, I think it's good to do that, especially when it comes to how we're representing ourselves, right? It's all right to like let people go or allow people some more time to like come to it properly if that's not what you're trying to put out there.
But then Kalisha, the man said I'm not a rock star. Like, what are we? What? What? Because I want to make quality content, man.
Can you
Like,
say what the content was? I want to know what he thought it was okay to show up drunk to.
look, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Like,
Like,
You sparked my
well,
curiosity.
it was a couple. Well, okay. Like, and this is the thing about situations like that. If we were, I could have probably been like, "Yo, we could record a song," and that energy could have converted to
Yeah.
possibly some dope music.
Yeah.
But
Or just
like,
record your ad libs.
yeah.
or like we could like, but my goal was we usually do on the street segments where we interview people
Hmm.
on the streets.
Right.
And then when we get in the car, the first thing he says is, "I want girls. I want bitches.
Oh.
Let's go to Little 5 Points where the bitches are." I'm like, I
Nah.
love you, bro. But I'm trying, like, I'm grown.
I've not put full episodes out because of that. Like full episodes. Like I got hours. Like I'm sorry, sweetheart, but like, you know, halfway through you started sweating all sort of weird. And I'm not trying to do people like that though. Like you really want me to put that out there?
No,
Like,
but it's sad because it makes you not be able to be around people.
right.
When you want the best for yourself, it is a very isolating thing, and it makes you come on. What words have we used? Prudy in suburban. Like, dang.
Listen, if people are gonna say like I'm a bit white, I would take that over looking foolish. Like, because I get that. Like every once in a while, people are like, "You're hella white," and I'm like, "Is that supposed to be insulting?" Like my mom is white. Like, of course I'm kind of white, but they relate it to like me being, you know, maybe not kicking down doors trying to take your names and stuff. Like easy.
Can I interview? Can I ask you guys a question?
Sure.
So speaking of the topic of the episode, what are some things that you guys implement on a day-to-day basis to be the best versions of yourself?
Well, that's one of the standards is the quality of the people around me. And having to be particular about where I spend my time and how I give my time, especially like being such an empath and wanting to give to everybody. Also, I don't know, making sure I eat 3 times a day and shower and and I'm
Yeah.
and my
Yeah.
bills are paid and I mean and I'm being creative and aspiring for
Mm,
more and building something bigger.
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, those are all really great things. For me, it was um delegating that time to myself, right? I'm a businesswoman, I'm a mom, I'm a sister, I'm a spouse, and it was really just like carving out that space to make sure that I know what I need for the day or the week, right? Because it's easy to pack up lunches for everybody else, but like, I got to cut my own vegetables and sort out my own water bottles, right? So,
Yeah.
like making sure I do that. And like I'm a heavy teetotaler. So to me, the ritual of making tea, and it sounds really simple, but it's a lot. Maybe it could look at like an addiction to certain people, but the art and the ritual of boiling water and making a cup of tea and it being like perfect, and then that it's like a half an hour process from beginning to end. So those are like the moments that I take to make sure that I got my mind right.
I
And then
I
you
and
know
I guess just am I being better at everything I'm doing?
yeah.
You know,
You almost said husband.
yeah, I was
You
well,
take
cause
it back.
well, the first thing I try to do before I do anything, I wake up every morning. I wake up early, and I try to make it a dual time. Right, I'll knock out a few household things and do some stuff for Reva, and then I'll do what I want for like an hour. But sometimes I don't get to because I gotta work on I gotta make stuff. I gotta, people be waiting on me for flyers, artwork, ideas, good problems, good
Yeah.
problems.
Yeah.
But even the good problems are hard to have.
Yeah, doesn't it feel good though when you do it? Like, I mean, laundry is one of those things, and I don't know why. I don't. It's maybe because I'm looking at my closet right now, but like, uh, no, like my work wardrobe, I like have out on like a little roller, so I know what I need to be doing. But it's not. There's something about completing those tasks that are going to be there day in and day out, right? Like, it's like it sounds petty or simple or whatever, but like doing the dishes before bed sets me up for a good mind space in the morning. I know that I'm not walking into a kitchen that looks hectic, and just have
Yeah.
those little things like, man, they make you start focusing on the good because you already feel good, right? It's easier to
Yeah.
like
You
stay
feel
focused.
Well,
accomplished.
and if you told your younger self, though, Jesse, the things that you would accomplish, like that you'd be able to be at WrestleMania with
Um,
your brother, that you'd have
yeah.
degrees, that you would have, you know, would your younger self had believed that?
Um,
He said,
yes.
"Hell yeah."
Yeah. Honestly, more. I still have more to do. But yes. hmm
I
I always pictured a lot out of myself.
yeah, I mean, so how was that for you to see being around? Like, even well, first before I'm sorry, you said so much that's made me think about so much.
Yeah.
You
And
kind of
I'm looking
took
at
me
the
down.
time and I'm like, bro, I feel like I haven't even started yet.
Yeah, no, well,
I could talk. I could turn this into a 3-hour episode. Real.
no, but being well, and all of us could,
Oh yeah.
just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's bad.
There's
It's
a
bad. It's
reason
a
why
It's a problem.
yeah.
It's a serious problem.
um,
Yeah.
but like, and it's funny because I find myself like you challenge yourself a bunch of different ways, kind of unorthodox, right? But I find that I challenge myself just and it's kind of like I know who I am. I'm just gonna try and improve in the things
Mm.
that I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
not
it's not a
trying
bad
to be
approach.
a jack of all
Yeah.
trades. You know, and
Yeah.
so what? is your, because literally my being the best me is doing the things, being a better son, husband, worker, boss, whatever the fuck. What is yours? Because yours has to be completely different than
Yeah, I mean,
that.
I can't see comments, so I don't know if people don't like the whole faith thing, but that's a
Go with
major
the
part
thing.
of.
Yeah, go
It
with
doesn't matter though.
Okay,
It
yeah,
doesn't
I'm just saying.
matter.
I'm
yeah,
sorry if I'm boring anybody with that, but
It
I mean,
doesn't matter.
first and foremost, for me, it's to be a faithful servant. And like I said, I was the biggest atheist person, and if we could get into that another time and what brought me to religion. Um, but that's first, and that is what's got me to where I'm at now. Because with everything I'm doing in Christian hip hop, it's um it's all because I surrendered my life to God and I stopped trying to make things happen and I go by his pace for his plans. And it's crazy, like all these doors that are opening up for me now. Like I was on a festival stage with 4,500 people a month, whatever, a month and a half ago. And right now
I
I was
seen it.
yeah. And then I was on another podcast just before this, and that owner, we're gonna turn it into a 3-day festival. I have a quarterly Christian hip hop concert. We're doing a monthly evangelistic event. We're doing our first one in Venice Beach, September 21st, where we're gonna go to Venice Beach. We're gonna throw a
Y'all are
free
going straight
yeah,
to
we're
where the
going.
devil is.
Yo, no. I mean, it's not where the devil is. Where people just need to hear about
Hey,
God. You feel me?
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's better
But yeah,
wording.
yeah. but we're gonna go. We're gonna throw a free concert there in Venice Beach, and we're also gonna set up. We're gonna give out hot dogs and stuff to the homeless. And we're about that. We're trying to take Christian hip hop to the streets. I mean, you know what my history with Hip Hop Society. I don't know if anybody watching remembers Hip Hop Society or me from Hip Hop Society, but all that I
My verse is still that cipher could still exist. There was a lot of dope content
no, there
that
was a lot.
came from that.
Yeah. Do you know what even happened to that? I mean, I get distracted quick, so I'm already distracted. I'm already talking about Hip Hop Society.
Go on with it.
Yeah, yeah.
Just go on about what.
So, so, yeah. So, I mean, that's what I'm trying to do now, and it's all been a process for me because it was hard for me to. I mean, there's a lot of money in mainstream hip hop or the secular side. That's when in Christianity, it's secular is kind of like the main thing, and I let go of a lot of money in working with artists like that because I just felt so much conviction, and I was like, I can't be working with artists that put all this content that poisons young kids, women to over sexualize themselves, and men or boys to be killing each other and promoting these negative things. And I had to stop doing that. And now what
That's
I'm doing, yeah,
that's
go for it.
go on, go on.
Oh, I was like, no, I want
That
to,
must be scary though, right? Like that must be scary because you're giving up like potential revenue to like do
yeah, I did.
better.
I gave up. I don't even want to say how many, but it was a couple of thousands per month. And my girl, I told her, I was like, hey, you're either gonna you're gonna ride with me or not, but this is what I'm doing. And she's been super supportive on it. And ever since then, did it take some time? Sure. But now things are just like doors are opening up like crazy. And at the end of the day, um, I'm at a point now, like you could ask me like, oh, what would you do if you won $1 billion at doing the lottery? I would come back here in my office tomorrow again and do what I'm doing because I love what I'm doing every single day. It doesn't matter how much money I make. I'm happy doing what I'm doing every day.
I
And
see.
that's
I mean,
I did it.
so I guess I've fallen. People expect, people want me to be hard or something, so a certain way, so bad, because it ain't like I don't talk my shit, right? um but um I don't know, I feel like secular music is a reflection of what people are experiencing and not the
Mhm.
cause. of what people are going through. I think there's exaggerations, and it gets to the point where it's a caricature of what
Yeah. Oh
people
yeah.
are going through instead of the actual thing. Like 50
Yeah.
Cent was so uh lovable because he was a caricature that like really went through it. And so it was like like for because mm, for certain types of people they want to be that.
Yeah.
Right, but are we
And they
perpetuating it though a little bit? Like, because music
well
needs to be
even
symptom
even
cure,
for
right?
but for me I have plans on like my goal too on top of that because this was the point I was getting to. I didn't mean to cut you off, Kalisha, but it's like I try to do those same exact things without it being of course it's faith based, right? Like because like but it's not because it's secular music, but my goal is still to help the community, to change
Yeah.
lives, to throw those kind of events, to like even this show right now, in
Yeah.
case of the Mondays, we're
Yeah.
right here. It's funny, I'm thinking about it in general, not even thinking
Yeah,
about
I
what
don't think
we're
it has to
discussing.
be it doesn't have to be religious to be spiritual, and it doesn't have to be religious to be of service, right? Like, I'm not a religious person, but I am here to serve people all day long. I mean, Daz, you serve people all day long. You know what I mean? Even just answering your comment section, you're serving people, right? And so I don't know if it necessarily needs to be religion to justify being a good person or to like give back in a positive.
Well, and he's not saying we're not gonna say that he's not saying that at all. It's I gotta defend hip hop I gotta
Yeah.
defend hip hop a
Yeah.
little bit. I
Yeah.
understand and have close relationships with a lot of like Christian rappers and stuff like that. Like I have a joint coming out on my next album with one. I toured with No Big Deal. So, and he's one of the biggest in that field right
Yeah.
now. But does he act personally to me any different than any of the secular artists? Nah, he don't text me back. And we toured together. So, like he seen me every day.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. We
Yeah.
had
But no,
conversation.
when it comes to the secular side of stuff, like I definitely like I get with the whole if people are speaking their truths, but at the same time, whether you agree or disagree with the whole powers that be, I do think that they're exploiting certain demographics to keep them in a hamster wheel of a lifestyle. And I think that's a big issue that isn't really addressed. And it's kind of you're just celebrating artists that are polluting the youth. And this I thought before I was religious, anyways. That's why I liked underground hip hop.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? That's why I was into underground because I didn't like the radio. Um,
Yep.
so I still feel that way, and so there's secular artists. I think that those are your truths, but there's also artists that don't live that life haven't lived that life in decades and still act like they're in that life to make money off of
And they're
exploiting
just
people.
selling it.
Yeah.
Shout out Conquest. He is a faith-based artist that was tagged by Gordo.
Oh, shout out Conquest. Hey, follow Christway.
Shout out Christway. Link up with Jesse. Let's try
Yeah.
to make something happen. He's on the
Yeah,
West
I'm
Coast.
about to hit 250,000 followers soon on
Ooh.
Instagram. So get us
Oh,
there,
oh,
please.
okay. Look, but we don't. It's not the followers that matter.
Yeah.
It's the message.
Yeah,
I just,
the shout.
I don't know. I try to whatever motivates you. Whatever motivates you and drives you to be the best that you can be. Your story is amazing. I
Thanks,
see it's
bro.
10:03. We'll
Yeah,
definitely
whatever.
have to bring you on we're gonna have to dig a little bit deeper.
Yeah,
Very
there's so much to converse on, especially like me and you have such history that we've done, and you like you said, you've seen a lot, and I don't think we really touched in like
We've
all
never
the
gone. We've
yeah
not talked about it in depth
yeah
the
yeah.
way that it
We
could.
should
We've watched, we've
absolutely
had these discussions, we've stayed in contact through it
uh-huh.
all, but like never nosy or invasive, just enough to know that one another got each other's back
Yeah,
though. So,
yeah.
but yeah, let's give Jesse Nolan, follow Christ Way on Instagram. 225,000.
47 right now. We're trying to get to two. No, I'm saying we're trying to get to 250. We're trying to get to 250.
Oh, congratulations on everything. I can't imagine that none of that was easy, and to stay the course, and to see, where you've come from and what you could be doing. It's easy to be lazy, but good on you for the hard work. Dave.
Woo, it's so easy. That's a great point to leave it to continue the conversation from when he
Oh wait, yeah, because I was about to I'm telling you, I was
exited.
about to start.
Yeah, well, and but yeah, and to stay on the same course while swerving too, because you never know which lane. You know what I'm saying? To be able to be like, okay, let me go get degree. Let me go get degrees, and to remember, because I think so much of life is set up to take you here. Like you'll become a teacher.
Do that pose again.
Nah. Well, it's just like you'll become a teacher to change the school system and the things you hate about it. But by the time that you're superintendent, you've lost sight.
Yeah.
And the process is so long and grueling, it's made to beat you down and fall in line.
Mm-hmm.
And so to remember everything, it's got to be brutal, but part of what gets you through it.
Yeah. Because I like that too. Like you've seen what I've been doing, and people commend me on that too. Like things won't work out, but I'm not gonna stop. I'm just gonna keep doing it, and I mean, all it took is perseverance.
Well, to bring it back around, to take that time off, to refocus, to do this, that, and and it's not an unproductive. You'll be like, I'm taking time. People will take time off to scratch their nuts. You know what I'm saying? You'll be like, where you at? What are you doing? And then they'll come out and have some pretend fake. They'll spend that time thinking of why. Well, what can I tell people to come back?
Like, but it wouldn't take the same energy. I don't know why they just don't do it. Like that.
But you'll take that time off to go get a degree, blah blah blah. Like to really do some. Like it's not like that time off was wasted.
Oh no, absolutely not. I came back so much stronger, and I'm working on my master's now. Like that, I would not have thought of. Like it's crazy. It's just crazy what sobriety has kind of.
Is it time off then? Because I mean, like just that, like if that is the trajectory, like if you go back and say like that, maybe that was the pathway to learn all the things that you needed to put all the pieces together, you know what I mean? Aces in their places to be who you are now. Like even time off, maybe it's like putting in work all the time.
Personally, I feel like it's time off from that thing that you were like, okay, for me, if I lose my car keys and I know that they're not in the car, I'm probably going to sleep on it because my brain has spent way too much time looking and frazzled. So I come with new eyes. If I'm working on a song too long, I step aside from it. and I come back. And it doesn't matter if I made 40 album arts, screwed 10 chicks. I like, you know, I'm coming back with fresh eyes. I'm coming back with fresh ears to the song. So I took a break from what I was doing at that time.
I see what you mean.
I like the time off. I when you said that, I thought of an analogy, and it's just like sometimes you could be like, picture yourself driving in a car and you're just going so fast and things are going the right way, but if you don't stop to look, you might not even see that you're going down the wrong road, and you're like, whoa, I'm not even supposed to be going this way. Let me turn the car that way.
You're going the wrong way.
Yeah.
So sometimes to realign, it's not necessarily a break like, oh, let me shut off completely. Let
Mm.
me shut off that part of my brain. For me, even when a part of my brain is shut off, it's still actively stewing on that thing. Like,
Right.
even if I don't rap for 4 years, every bar that I'm hearing in between that time is strengthening
Mhm.
my ability when I return, and I'm actively thinking about it, and the other things I'm doing are just gonna build on to
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I was like, I drink tea, I do this, and that's exactly what I mean when I do that. Like, that's my that's my take time, right? But it's funny because when you guys were talking about it, I was like picturing it to be like I was having a hard time understanding that like that tiny little bit of time can be a big piece of time and still, you know what I mean? Like just to like amp it up a bit or like times it by 10 or you know what I mean? Like that little cup of tea can look like an overnight sleep or can look like a changing careers or you know what I mean? 30 days of sobriety. Like I wasn't looking at it that way. But essentially
Your mic stopped working.
Does it work now?
Yeah.
It says connected. So you didn't hear what I just said?
No.
Okay, so yeah, I said obviously it's a case by case scenario. Someone might not be able to take a whole month off, but I have time. I literally like taken off the internet. I'm gonna hop off. I've even again, don't take up my advice.
People
On everything,
people think they can't. This is a mentality thing though, Jesse.
I was gonna
Because
say relationship. I paused relationships too.
oh, you'll pause and then go
Yeah.
back to them.
No, I
Use
might realize like, hey, I'm happier now. That wasn't
but
good.
people do that too, right? Like people
Yeah.
step out, come back, and then appreciate what they have. Like, I mean, we don't cover that a lot, but it's definitely it's all part of it, right?
Well, and even look, you drinking that tea,
Mm.
it helps your voice. It's good for your body. It does all kinds of
Chamomile
things.
makes me sleepy.
Mm. Listen,
Like,
you should see this stash. My grandpa brings it up from Jamaica, so we got like all the teas. We like I got mint in my backyard, so I dry that out, like whatever I could get my hands on, right? So it just depends. Like last night I had a chamomile and a little bit of
Oh, is that
raspberry.
how you pronounce it?
Chamomile?
I said chamomile.
Oh, I
Have
don't
I been
know.
saying it wrong the whole time?
it could be pronounced different in Canada.
Oh.
We don't
I was
know.
like, I was like,
Yeah,
damn.
I don't know. I bet you it's both though. Like I'm for sure it's
Mm-mm.
probably both. Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong. I've
I,
always
g-
just chamomile.
I
Chamomile?
wish if
Chamomile?
rappers used it in a bar, I would know. If Drake used it, I'd be like, okay, that's the Canadian way. And then if Yo Gotti used it, I'd be like, that's the American way. But
Yeah, we're gonna
uh,
need Drake to weigh in here.
but you had said and about like being the best version of you, like, and taking breaks. You got to have a mentality that like you stepping away, that you can quit things.
Yes.
Your life don't depend on these things. Like you've got to know that there's something better out there for you. if you can't step away from the internet for 6 months or whatever, they you didn't need that support.
Yeah, you got an addiction. Back to the addiction.
Well, I mean, like for me, as far as an artist with an audience, people feel like if they step away, it's giving away their audience.
And right now, as an artist, it's like the worst time now because of reels and short form content. It's like everything is so analytic based, and every now and then something will come up on my feed and it's very artistic and just
Yeah.
great lyrics. And to me, I'm like, oh, they just made a fan, and now I listen to their whole albums while everyone else has these just short form microwave stuff.
Yeah, cookie
Which
cutter.
could do numbers, but how many replays is it gonna get on your album?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to make stuff that sticks, but I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. I mean, create real connections
Yeah.
because this could all go down in any second. The internet could be over. Like, don't
Yeah.
know what to don't know what to tell you. Zuckerberg could zuck it.
You know, in this, I mean, we've talked about this before. Like the one real, I mean, you got a beautiful comment section always, right? And those people come through for you. Those people are going to come through for you whether you're, you know, live or not. They want to see you like live, right? So the numbers are a beautiful thing if you can rack them up. But yeah, at the end of the day, like, you know, I don't know. I get worried. Like I see these kids and they're like 30 seconds of whatever, and then I'm like, I don't know, could you sit through a whole concert? Like,
Yeah, I mean, part of that is why numbers don't that I don't think I said I mean, I don't know. It's so tough because I want to be the greatest artist in the world. I want to make the best content in the world, but like I don't feel like the algorithm determines that. I do feel like I need the help of whatever I can get to get there. I also am still going to create the way that I do regardless and just have to work harder because of that. You know, it sucks because even my impact is so much bigger than what it actually like. You can't put what I do into numbers because I've done it so long. I've lost pages. I've had to restart pages. You know,
Same.
yeah, I've had, you know, I mean, I've been doing it 10 plus years. Yeah, ain't ain't. Oh yeah, no, and it's a music is dead. You can't even buy it in stores. The second you can't buy it in stores anymore, besides specialty stores, was the death of the value of music.
that's so sad.
You know, I think one of the most top bought physical mediums of music is vinyl.
Well, yeah. I don't understand why.
Because
I
it's
get vinyl.
it's the idea of it, right? Like they did such a good job of rebranding vinyl, right? Because it came out the first go around and then everyone felt it was like vintage. And then like they did a great job with rebranding vinyl. Whoever's idea that was or whatever top was like, all right, we're gonna push it as like first go around and then
collector's items.
Thing and then a collector's edition. Like whoever called that made it happen because it didn't happen with the tape or the CD or any other piece of medium than that, right? I mean, people hold on to those collections. I mean, no one's repping their DVD collection. I mean, maybe, but not the same way they are vinyl, right? Like someone.
Yeah, there's people who are literally on TikTok going viral because of their vinyl collection. I need to start posting mine, but like all that shit, like I've been had that. I like it. Why you're supposed to monetize everything. The way the world is set up is come on, man. Like I feel so fucking corny talking about start filming. Like
no, people monetize going to Target.
Well,
Everything.
Yes.
Everything.
It's always been the idea in life to monetize your life. Like, oh, well, buy
Right.
shit you can resell. But when it comes to, I don't know, man.
It
I
makes me
just,
sad. It's sad. Like, okay,
I just want to make dope music with dope people and
Start
dope.
making content about monetizing, so you're monetizing off of monetizing.
No, but you can though.
Sell a monetizing course.
yeah, seriously. I mean,
And people don't know it. It's really right
Yeah.
in front of you. And they, even like this video, like people watch Kai Cenat. Kai Cenat, the way that he being the best you that you can be. Let's use his video as an example. He'll film for 6 hours and make 40 different videos out of that 6 hours, 20 different reels, all that. Each one is generating thousands and thousands and thousands of revenues. And then the sponsorships on top of that. And then he can get a sponsorship on TikTok that's different than the off of the same video.
But that's you got to be shameless with it, right? Like I've always hesitated on pushing the same content. Even I'm like, they've already seen it. But the reality is that like if you're not pushing it on all platforms, the same video 10 different ways. I mean, that's how music is being sold right now, right? You hear that one song, and then there's 20 TikTok videos for it. There's 20.
How do you find that balance, Jesse? Because the algorithm, you rock the algorithm, but it has to be nasty work for, like, it has to be. You have to be disgusted by it too.
You have to just, and this is something that people need to realize about monetizing and about social media. Like people try to make it like they think of social media as like how people see it, like, oh, it's friends commenting. Like, no, social media is now television for a lot of people, millions of people. So you have to see your social media channels as your TV network, and you have to I put it in, and I make content, and I have hours allotted in my schedule, like, oh, content creation, brainstorming, and guess what? I'm getting money off of it. I am monetized, and I get money off of it. If you don't view it that way,
you
and you're
have
not
to
putting in the
think
hours,
of it that way,
yes,
right?
you have to. If you want to just see it as a way to talk to people, you got the real world out here. Go talk to everyone out there. Go hang out.
I saw the best rapper in a rap competition practice every day with the $10,000 prize, like it was his job to get that $10,000.
But it was his job. Like that's
yeah. But why do so many people not think of it that way? Is what is so weird about it.
A lot of people still do it. There's people getting millions off of social media. So they're just
like, I will tell you though, I make content for musicians and I make content for the recovery community. And I could have the same conversation with two different people in those two different things. And one will have like a 45,000 reach and the other one will have like a 9,000 reach. And it's just, and I'm like, you can hashtag it the same way and just change like one being like music and the other one be like, we do recover. And for sure, the recovery stuff gets pushed way harder than music. That's
it's probably more niche.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, which is another thing I hate about TikTok is because I really don't want to tap into a community. I want to create my own. I do want to tap in, right? But I don't want to have to follow all the rules of that community. Because if you say anything about Tech9 and you're got a strange music fan base, you're gonna lose your fan base, or a few. They're gonna question you. Even me making that statement is risky.
You just some people unfollowed you already.
I just got unfollowed. Fuck it. But like I can't play. I don't want that kind of delicate love. If I say one thing that goes against the vegan handbook, like I don't want to be kicked out of my vegan community. Even like the way that Christians treated Kanye with how many secular people he had listening to Christian rap every Sunday and then digging deeper into Christian rap after that.
Oh yeah. I think Billboard named him like the top Christian artist.
They gave him like, but we're talking about that scene did not want him any parts about it. Some of them, and they should have loved it.
Yeah.
Like, and
I
he
think
was
what he could have done is collaborate with Christian artists instead of having
secular
artists
rap.
making Christian songs. At that point, they would have been like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay, he actually in our space for real, for real."
Yeah, where was his PR at? Like,
Yeah, even like Lecrae or something like that. That would have been.
He didn't do
crazy.
one joint with Lecrae, right?
Not one Christian rapper, nothing. He had Marilyn Manson though.
right.
Ah! Well, and I'm talking about before Donda, but Don.
Oh, Jesus is King.
Well, yeah, but like, you know, and Jesus is Lord, but like, yo, I'm gonna let you go, okay? Because even what you just said, we're supposed to accept everybody, and that was his point in having all these people who were being rejected with him. You know, it's such a crazy spot. Just like people have their opinions and don't know me. I don't even really let myself be known. People don't see me on a day-to-day basis. They pretend like they do all the damn time, and it's crazy. They pass five people. You don't see me on a no, you don't talk to me on a day-to-day basis, let alone see me. And so I don't know, I can relate. And like, even on my song On My Way, the speech that is given is about how the two most religious people were the ones who walked by, and then the most unholy is who stopped and helped somebody.
Yeah.
I see that all
Well,
the time.
if you look at religion is what killed Jesus. No, that's facts.
Hey, no,
facts.
it's facts. I know. Look, the facts be the funniest thing. Jesse, I love you. We're gonna
I'm already
set up.
like, I keep looking at the clock.
We're gonna set you. Look, I've tried to let you go. Even like, if he stays and answers, we're gonna continue talking about it. But we're gonna let you go. Obviously, we're gonna have to set up like a damn about 2 hour your day.
History, a whole history breakdown. I'd love to, bro.
Yeah. For sure. Well, y'all watching, let's give Jesse Nolan a round of applause. He's actually leaving this time. I know y'all sad.
All right.
Have a
much love to everybody who tuned in.
And let me put Christ Way up here real quick at Christ Way
Official.
Yeah, put your face real quick.
Thank you for all the. I just barely saw the comments. I feel so bad for everyone who was commenting that I was ignoring you.
Look, I love y'all in the comment section. Gordo, Ashley, Heather B, Conquest. I could go on and on. Waylon was in here earlier. Jeff, I love y'all. We're trying to make. Yeah, Jeffy. I tried to make it. Is that the correct way it's written? That's the correct way it's written, right?
It's official after Christway. The at. Yeah, Christway official.
At Christ. Let me edit it.
It's super nice meeting you. I am so excited to go and check on you and all the things that you've been doing. I'm really excited to hear more of the story and watch you on your beautiful journey out there serving everyone.
Yeah, I've been putting my face in more content lately, so you'll see me. Yeah, it's cool. We're about to drop the first season of the Cyphers starting this Friday. some pretty dope artists. And yeah, we got a lot going on. It's some good times. All right, I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna go
He's like,
get these podcasts.
all right, like
done.
SpongeBob, like SpongeBob. Peace.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. What a cool guy doing such cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and to live so many different lives, and I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And to find redemption and to still believe. I just want all y'all to believe. Y'all are great now and working towards greatness. Y'all inspire me to be the best person I could be. So I hope that y'all all know that. And push me to make the best content that I can be and to work with the best people I can work with. And to not let y'all down, to rock it out and to not let myself down.
Absolutely. It's it shows. I don't want to sit here and take up too much of everybody's time, but Daz, honestly, like there's not many people, and I said this on my own, a few times now, there's not too many people that bring people with them and find ways to actually highlight, their friends, their family, their followers, and their frenemies, right? Like you really are out there doing all the things. And I know because we talk outside of this, and there's not many people that are dedicated even just to like, little pieces of the conversation, never mind like the whole thing. So
woo!
Mad love, even more respect.
and you're always with there to dive in and to do everything that you're doing for real. So y'all keep trying to be the best y'all can be. We're gonna have to do a part 2 of this conversation, most definitely. A lot of things we had listed we didn't get to touch, but have a rest of y'all's night. Peace.